Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Riding with Gravity. We got a beautiful sun coming up. Probably hard for you to see, but it's a beautiful sun coming up here this morning. And I'm just gonna go for a little ride on Gravity. And I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things to be thinking about when you're starting out your ride. Not the rider routine, right? Not like, hey, what do you do to get ready? And some of the checks that you would do of your motorcycle before you actually get out riding. But once you've done those checks and you're out riding, just some things to be thinking about in those, first moments of hitting the road. So I wanted to tell you a story about that. From a T-clock standpoint, I do some basic checks. Checking the tires is something I do regularly, and I just do it manually. And this is tire related, so that's why I'm bringing it up. So I'll just, I'll feel the tire. I'll just see, push down on it and inspect it for any nails or things sticking out. Just a very quick thing. I want to make sure my tires are good. So I do that pretty much every day. Last weekend I was out riding and something felt off. And this is the big point of this video, really is. You get to know your bike pretty well. If something feels wrong, something's wrong. I'll say it again. You know your motorcycle pretty well. After all the times you're riding it, you get to know your motorcycle. You know how it feels, you know how it behaves. If something feels off, then it is. There's something wrong. If something feels wrong, something's wrong. So what happened to me was this. I'm out riding and I was on some roads that I haven't really been on before. But I started to feel what it just kind of felt a little squishy when I was taking turns or just changing lanes. It just felt a little squishy. It didn't feel egregiously wrong, right? It didn't feel like, oh my gosh, there's something severely wrong with my motorcycle. But it just felt a little off. And so as I'm riding, I'm noticing this and I'm trying to kind of understand why the bike feels the way it does. Because I'm on new roads, one of the first things I did was I looked at the road and I'm like, okay, does this road just kind of slant a little bit? Is it uneven? Why is it that my handling just feels a little squishy? And I did then also kind of look at my front tire from while I was riding, just to see like, hey, how much is it compressed? And it just felt odd. So I cut my ride short and I stopped and I checked everything out and it seemed okay. I was pretty close to home. I had kind of started to make my way home. If you feel like there's something maybe wrong with your motorcycle and you pull over and you inspect it and it seems like everything's kind of okay, well then, yeah, all right, within your own comfort, depending on the situation. For me, I was like, okay, it seems fine. Just feels a little squishy. So I started riding it home. And sure enough, I went to a gas station to just check the tires, and the front tire was down to 18 PSI. Like I said, when I got out, I compressed the tires too, and I could tell at that point, this is most likely the tire is low. And at that point, I'm thinking, okay, if the tire is low, I just need to know, do I have a leak? A slow leak? Or is this just, I need some air for whatever reason? So anyway, I topped it off. I checked the front and the back. I chose, so a lot of times you'll see people do 29, 29, 29 in the front, 29 in the rear. I know some people have tried 29 PSI in the front and 32 in the rear. That's for this motorcycle with the Pirelli Scorpion tires, per a suggestion from Pirelli. So anyway, I decided to go with 29-32 just to see how it feels instead of 29-29, and that's just because I like a stiffer tire. And that was a Pirelli recommendation for this motorcycle. So, but a lot of people do 29, or you know, I actually saw some folks that went lower because they like a softer tire. But anyway, my front tire was just a little flat, and as you can imagine, it makes it feel squishy. I go left and it wants to go left, but it kind of sticks left just a little. It just kind of feels like it's sticking. That's kind of the sensation. But you get to know your bike pretty well. You know the way it sounds, you know the way it feels, you know the way it rides. You should be able to diagnose if there's something wrong. And like I said before, if you think there's something wrong, there's something wrong. Trust yourself, because then you'll be able to get it remediated and get yourself into a safe place, right? Without having it be too big of an issue for you. So I did that, got air in the tires, and I've been just checking them regularly to see if there's any leaking, right? My concern was, in the short term, I have tires that need air. In the long term, am I leaking any air? Because I don't want to have to stop all the time, right, to put air in my tires, or I don't want to ride around with a leaky tire. So everything is fine. I have not had any issues, so that makes me happy. But I'm glad that I caught it, because I could tell something was wrong, and it was just this very slight sensation. And so again, I'm going to continue to inspect that to make sure I don't have a slow leak. This week it's been fine. Every day the tire pressure's been holding, so I'm guessing I'm good, but we'll see, right? So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. Very important, and it's a safety tip, really. Even if you're new to motorcycles, you'll get to know your motorcycle pretty quickly, and just be listening to the bike.